that unity is paramount for Africa to progress. Unity is what every Pan-Africanist is yearning for, and proximity to one another is what every Pan-Africanist and every African out there is looking for and yearning for, because we know divided we fall and united we stand.
Indeed.
And that is, like my co-panelists already mentioned, the ideas of Kwame Nkrumah was unity right from the onset, but they were defeated in favor of a gradual unity or some sort of a confederation of states of Africa. But let me take a step back, Clarice, because a lot of Pan-Africanists are following this program, and a lot of them who do know me know that I have a difference of opinion in terms of what some of them are trying to put out there. When we talk about the unity of Africa and the downside of the lack of unity of Africa. When we say the unity of Africa, a lot of Pan-Africans think that Africa needs some sort of a fusion, that Nigeria would cease to exist, Kenya would cease to exist, Ghana would cease to exist, Cameroon would cease to exist, Libya would cease to exist, and then we come to a fusion of states into one big, gigantic, united Africa that is one state, one president, whatever it is. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not happening. This is daydreaming. This will set Africa backward by decades, and we will be there doing nothing but killing ourselves, trying to say we want an Africa where we have one single gigantic country and ruled by one president and all the resources brought together and the country cease to exist. That is not practical.
Absolutely.
We know that the Europeans came and divided us. We didn't have those borders. We all know that. We wish it never happened. But we are not going back to erasing those physical borders. When I say physical borders, I mean what I said before, that Nigeria is not going to cease from existing.
Absolutely.
Kenya is not going to cease from existing. And the rest of the African states in favor of one Africa, or whatever they will call it, Ubuntu, or whatever name. Those are ideals, and they sound very, very, it brings up the euphoria in Africa, and Pan-Africanists talking left and right and this. But those are loud-sounding symbols. We need practical solutions when it comes to the unity of Africa.
Indeed.
My colleague already mentioned a couple of them, and you mentioned a couple of them. We need to remove the barriers that are hindering the economic progress of Africa. We need to remove the barriers that are hindering the proximity for African states to work together on a common platform to promote the ideals of Africa. We need to remove everything that stops us from being seen as one in terms of economy, political, psychological, even mentality, because the problem is in the mind. So when we talk about the unity and proximity of Africa coming together as one, let us be practical. Let's leave aside those euphoric ideals of removing the European borders that were put in 1884 and we'll come to one Africa and there's just one Africa and one president or whatnot. Those are not practical solutions for Africa, ladies and gentlemen that are listening to me all over the world, because I've been in different forums where we have this heated debate of what it means for Africa to come together.
Yeah.
So again, we are defining what unity is and what we should all yearn for. I know that a lot of friends, when I talk about unity and I bring some ideas that have been implemented by European Union, they don't want to hear about it because these are the colonizers that brought us all this mayhem and all this chaos. But a practical solution, whether it comes from Europeans or it comes from the West or whatever it is, if it is something that works in our context, I see no problem with it. All these ideals of saying that we're going to, it is not practical, ladies and gentlemen. It's not practical. Let's talk about practical solutions when it comes to African unity that is going to advance the cause of Africa.